Good evening, everybody. My name is Scott Jacobs, and you're listening to Juiced Sports Radio. And just hours before the NCAA is set to tip off its 2012 Final Four from New Orleans, longtime SI columnist and CBS Sports analyst Seth Davis took a few minutes of his time to join us here at Juiced Sports Radio. Take a listen. I am joined today by Seth Davis, longtime SI.com college basketball writer and CBS Sports analyst. Seth, thanks so much for taking some time out of your very busy schedule to join us here on Juiced Sports Radio.
Good to talk to you. How are you, Scott?
I'm good. How's New Orleans treating you?
Oh man, this town will get you if you're not careful. But it's
I hear you.
For Final Four, it's always a great place to visit. I love coming here. I've come here many years for Jazz Fest and for various things, and it's always great to be back, especially at a Final Four.
And obviously it's nice that it's back in New Orleans after everything that city has been through. And this year they're going to be hosting the Super Bowl, or this coming season. So finally back to normal a little bit for them. So now I don't have the numbers on this, but it seems to me that this has been a pretty low-scoring NCAA tournament. We've seen some flat-out awful numbers at times, like Michigan State and Louisville, Florida State, Cincinnati, which was just horrible on the eyes, and USF Temple that first half. But is this year really that much different from tourneys past?
Probably not. I mean, I've seen a couple of numbers here and there that indicates that on average, the points may be a couple of points down, but I don't think that's going to be the case of the Final Four. I mean, I think you got four teams who can really put points on the board, and I fully expect them to be able to do that. And there are a lot of various reasons why scoring is down a little bit in college basketball, but I do think there's a reason why. These four teams are here. It's because they're able to put points on the board in a hurry. So defense is important, but you got to score a lot of points. You have to score them fast and get some easy buckets if you can.
And we have seen some high-scoring games, in all fairness. Creighton and North Carolina, Kentucky and Indiana was obviously an unbelievable game. What's been the best game of the tournament?
I would say the best game of the tournament is probably the Ohio-North Carolina game, and that went into overtime. And you had the Cinderella story of Ohio trying to get to a Sweet 16. Sorry, Scott, I'm trying to get into the dome here because this is a perfect radio.
No worries.
And the drama of Kendall Marshall not being there, that sticks out. The Kentucky-Indiana was probably the most aesthetically pleasing game. I mean, we do like to watch the ball go in the basket. And I also think the North Carolina-Kansas game also, Scott, stands out in my mind. Again, that was a one-point game with 3.5 minutes to go with the Final Four on the line, and North Carolina, playing without a starting point guard.
Speaking of North Carolina, 4/5 of their starting lineup is going to be headed to the NBA. Are the Tar Heels possibly one of the most talented teams ever that's not going to win a championship with the current team they have?
No, I think that's overstating it, Scott. I mean, I think they're a good team. I think they just caught a bad break with Kendall Marshall getting hurt. It's really unfortunate. But there are a lot of good teams that don't win it. I mean, look at Kansas last year; it was a really good team. I think about the Duke '99 team, teams lose in the tournament every year that quote unquote shouldn't. But isn't that why we watch, right, Scott? I mean, it's the NCAA Tournament is the most unique sporting event in the world. It's the only time you really get those true Cinderella, David and Goliath upsets that happen with, given the disparity oftentimes on the talent on the floor, the prominence of the name recognition of the program. Those things happen, I would say, with a lot of frequency.
Now, unlike years past, as far as the Cinderellas are concerned, this tournament, even though there's only one seed left, there's 2 2s and a 4. There's really no Cinderellas left. Ultimately, as far as the Final Four stage is concerned, is that better in terms of the caliber of basketball that we should expect this weekend and on Monday?
It's interesting, Scott, because, last year this time the big story was VCU and Butler, VCU going first 4 to the Final Four.
Right.
Butler, I'm getting off right here. Butler getting back to the Final Four for the second year in a row. So, I think people like that appeal, but I do sense, Scott, that, people like to see Ali Frazier. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they like the heavyweights. Mm-hmm. They like to see guys, recognizable players, future NBA lottery picks going at it. You got so much talent on the floor tonight in the Dome. I mean, just to have a Thomas Robinson going up against a Jared Sullinger, I mean, that's unusual in today's day and age of college basketball, we think of it as being a guards game, being small, being quick. So to have two big men going at it like that, two future lottery picks is pretty special. And obviously on the Kentucky side, you have multiple lottery picks. I mean, it is
the whole team is a lottery pick.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and they've been the best team all year, and they are Goliath. There's no question that Kentucky's A game is better than everybody else's A game. And you know what, Scott? I'm not sure that Kentucky's B game isn't better than everybody else's A game. So when you play Kentucky, I think really your number one strategy is to hope. You got to hope that they don't bring their A game, or you're going home.
Well, let's talk about Kentucky. That's a perfect segue into the next few questions I had. Anthony Davis was named the AP's College Basketball Player of the Year on Friday. Is he your Player of the Year pick as well?
Yes. In fact, I'm an AP voter. I vote in the poll, and I vote on their Player of the Year and All-America team. And I picked Anthony Davis. I mean, to me, Scott, certainly you could make a very good case for Thomas Robinson to win that award, but it was kind of close. But I also kind of fell back on a very simple question. If I could take 300 Division I basketball coaches and I could ask them, if you could take one player in America to start your team with, who would you take? I'll bet 99% of them would take Anthony Davis. And so I think that tells you a lot about, how much he dominates the game, especially at the defensive end of the floor. But, his offensive game really improved as the season went on as well.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen in years past players won the AP award and then they came back the next season and sometimes they won it again. Anthony Davis is going to be a one and done. Does it bother you that a lot of guys are winning these awards and basically running to the NBA with them?
No, it doesn't bother me at all. The only thing that bothers me is that nobody offered me $3 million to leave college early. I would have done it in a heartbeat. The only thing that bothers me, I'm much more bothered, Scott, by the fact that these kids are forced by a rule to go to school in the first place if they don't want to be there. I mean, we don't object when a 13-year-old piano player prodigy gets pulled out and gives a concert, or tennis players or baseball players.
Right.
And you're talking to somebody. The popularity of college basketball feeds my kids. I love college basketball. I need college basketball to succeed. There's no question that the one and done, so-called one and done rule, which by the way is an NBA rule, not an NCAA rule.
Right, of course.
Has been a huge boon for college basketball, but for some reason we feel like we know what's better for these kids than they do. We feel like we know what's better for these kids than the marketplace. I would say to the NBA, if you don't want these kids in your league, then stop drafting them. So I don't like the rule, even though in large measure it's been very good for college basketball, and I have nothing but full commendation for John Calipari for doing such a good job recruiting, and not only recruiting him, but coaching the heck out of him once he gets them.
Right, and so is the success he's having with essentially brand new teams each season, is it worrisome at all for college hoops, considering how schools tend to emulate what works, or is it basically he's just such a good recruiter that he gets these master teams and all-star teams and no one really can compete?
Again, I think the only people that should be worried are the people who have to play against him. I don't get why anybody is disenchanted by excellence. I mean, Anthony Davis is a phenomenal basketball player. Is college basketball better off with Anthony Davis playing at Kentucky or with Anthony Davis playing for the Washington Wizards? I mean, it's been a huge boon for college basketball. It's an NBA rule. It only has to do with money, and there's obviously a market for these services. And I don't get the notion that we need to deny people the opportunity to make a lot of money and change their lives and support their family, change the history of their family, and because we don't like the way a game is played or fundamentals, whatever reasons we conjure. If you're good, if the NBA doesn't want these guys in the league, they should stop drafting them.
But from a selfish standpoint, it seems like the continuity in college basketball is not what it once was. Each year, the turnover seems like it's so much more significant than maybe in the late 80s, early 90s, even into the early 2000s. You look at a team like Duke, they're losing players left and right when players never left Coach K's team until they were juniors or at least sophomores. So,
hey, it's people can bemoan it all they want, but it's the way of the world now, and I don't think any of us would want to be denied the opportunity to pursue our dreams and reap incredible financial rewards for that. So I think the world still turns on the taxes. I think life goes on. I think it's okay for young kids to make a lot of money doing the things that they love. I have no problem with that happening whatsoever.
Okay. Well, let's get back to the NCAA tournament. On a 1 to 10 scale, 10 being the highest, how would you rate this year's tournament compared to seasons past? The criteria being things like quality of play, Cinderellas, breakout stars, unforgettable moments, and great teams.
Yeah. Just so you know, I have to go inside the Superdome. I have to make this the last question, but I think it's been a terrific tournament, Scott. We have not had that sort of signature buzzer beater moment that we all love, but I think, you know, we had the great happenstance of what I call Freaky Friday of the two seeds losing to 15 seeds within a couple hours of each other. You know, we've had our share of upsets. We had Ohio in the Sweet 16. But you know, we've also got a heavyweight Final Four of 4 really recognizable brand names with big stars. So I think we've gotten a little bit of everything in this tournament. And at the end of the day, the tournament always delivers.
So the last thing, I just wanted to talk to you a little about what you're doing with Subway. I understand you're working with them. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're doing with them?
Yeah. They're doing this promotion. They're calling it Buy One, Get One. If you buy a 6-inch sub, I know. If you buy a 6-inch sub before 9 in the morning, you get a second one for free. So you can get in there and get a breakfast sandwich. You get a lunch sandwich as well. So it's only for the month of April. It's called Buy One, Get One at Subway.
All right. Well, there you have it. Seth Davis, thanks so much for joining us here at Juice Sports Radio. Have a good one.
I'm sure you will enjoy the game. Thank you.
All right. Take it easy.
Okay, bye-bye, Scott.